Fade in from darkness. The Earth appears from orbit, silent, fragile, alive. Clouds swirl, oceans glow, continents breathe with motion older than memory. Now imagine standing at the edge of an ancient forest. Not just old, but ancient beyond comprehension. Trees rooted in soil that has watched continents collide. Wind carrying echoes of creatures that lived millions of years before humans ever spoke. Birds cut through the air. Insects hum like tiny engines of survival. A river patiently carves stone, grain by grain. Life is not static. It moves, changes, adapts. And a question rises, one humanity has wrestled with for centuries. Did God create life instantly? Or did He create a universe capable of creating itself? Did God create evolution? Science begins its answer with observation. In 1831, Charles Darwin sailed aboard the HMS Beagle. He didn't set out to challenge faith, he set out to understand nature. On the Galapagos Islands, he saw finches with different beaks, each shaped for survival on a specific island. Tortoises whose shells mirrored the terrain they lived on. Patterns emerged. Species weren't fixed, they changed. Natural selection, a simple but powerful mechanism. Small variations, some survive, some don't. Over time, survival shapes life. Mutations introduce variety. Time filters it. And over millions of years, new species appear. Fossils reveal a timeline. Simple life forms over 3.5 billion years ago. Fish, reptiles, mammals, humans. DNA confirms the connection. We share genetic code with nearly every living thing. 98% with chimpanzees, large portions even with mice. Life is not separate branches. It is one tree. And evolution isn't just a theory written in books, it happens now. Bacteria evolve resistance to antibiotics. Viruses mutate in real time. Nature adapts constantly. But this raises a deeper question. Where is God in this process?
Some believe evolution doesn't remove God, it reveals Him. This perspective is called theistic evolution. The idea is simple, yet profound. God didn't manually sculpt every species. He created the laws that allow life to unfold. He lit the fuse of the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago. He set the constants of physics, the structure of atoms, the possibility of chemistry, the conditions for stars, planets, and life. Then, creation began to right itself, not randomly, but within rules, within order, within possibility. Biologist Francis Collins, former director of the Human Genome Project, described evolution as God's language of creation. Science explains the mechanism, faith explains the meaning, how and why. Genesis, in this view, becomes poetry, a theological story expressing truth, not a literal timeline. Days become eras. Adam becomes a symbol of humanity awakening to moral awareness. God as primary cause, nature as secondary. Creation becomes a process, not a moment. But not everyone agrees. For many believers, evolution clashes directly with Scripture. Young Earth creationists argue that the Bible presents a literal account, 6 days of creation, a world only thousands of years old. Genesis does not describe gradual evolution. It describes divine command. Let there be light, and there was light. Life appears by intention, not by mutation. And deeper theological questions arise. Evolution requires death long before humans existed, predation, extinction, struggle. But Scripture teaches that death entered the world through sin. If animals died millions of years before humanity, was death always part of creation? What about Adam and Eve? Were they real individuals or symbolic figures? The New Testament refers to Adam as historical. Paul builds theology around one man's fall and one man's redemption. If Adam evolved from earlier humans, what becomes of original sin? And if evolution is driven by suffering and competition, does that make God the author of a brutal process? Millions of species emerging and vanishing, progress built on extinction.
Is that divine design or natural indifference? The debate deepens further. Evolution builds complexity through small changes, but critics argue, can random mutations truly produce the intricate machinery of life? The eye, the brain, the code of DNA? Information emerging from chaos? Some theologians say evolution risks pushing God into the background, a distant initiator rather than an active creator. Others argue the opposite, that God is not absent, He is present in every atom, sustaining reality moment by moment, not just creating life once, but continuously. Colossians 1:17 states, "In Him all things hold together." In this view, evolution isn't a replacement for God. It is His ongoing act of creation, a universe that is not static, but alive, dynamic, unfinished. And then comes a deeper realization. Perhaps the conflict exists because we expect creation to look like magic, instant, perfect, complete. But what if creation is more like a story? Unfolding, developing, surprising even its author. A universe with freedom built into its fabric, where stars explode and forge elements, where planets form from dust, where life rises, struggles, adapts, evolves. Not chaotic, not predetermined in every detail, but guided within possibility. A cosmos capable of producing consciousness, curiosity, love, meaning. Look at the universe itself. The physical constants are finely balanced. Slight changes and stars wouldn't form, atoms wouldn't bond, life would be impossible. Chance or intention? And here, science reaches its edge. Because it can describe processes, but not purpose. It can explain mechanisms, but not meaning. Why does anything exist at all? Why does the universe allow life? Why consciousness? Why the human search for truth and for God? Maybe the real question isn't, did God create evolution? Maybe it's, what kind of creation would a timeless intelligence make? A finished statue? Or a living system capable of growth? A universe frozen in perfection? Or one that unfolds, explores, becomes? Evolution, in that sense, is not random chaos. It is a narrative engine, a process that produces complexity, awareness, self-reflection. Creatures that look up at the stars and ask, why are we here? And perhaps that's the most striking detail of all. Evolution produces beings capable of questioning evolution, matter becoming conscious, life becoming aware of life, the universe observing itself through us, through thought, through wonder, through belief. So did God create evolution? The answer depends on the lens you choose. Through science, evolution is the mechanism shaping life. Through faith, God is the source behind existence itself. Through philosophy, evolution may be the bridge between matter and meaning. And through human experience, the question remains open. Because somewhere in the vastness of space, stars are still forming, planets are still cooling, life may be emerging right now on distant worlds. The process continues. Creation continues, whether guided or unguided, intentional or emergent. The universe is not finished, and neither is our understanding of it. Maybe the most profound truth is this: the question itself brings us closer, closer to science, closer to faith, closer to the mystery at the center of existence. Because the moment we ask whether God created evolution, we admit something extraordinary. We are not just part of the universe, we are aware of it. We are searching, and in that search, meaning is born. Fade out. Stars fill the screen, silent, endless, watching. And somewhere in that darkness, the story of creation is still being written.
If this just blew your mind even a tiny bit, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Turn on notifications because trust me, the universe has way more terrifying secrets to share. See you soon.